Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free impartial advice on all your debt.
This is UMAR for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We had a big night of heavyweight boxing last night. With me, I've got heavyweight Nathan Gorman. Your former opponent, Daniel Dubois, got stopped by Joyce. Your thoughts on the fight, Nathan?
I thought it was a very good fight. To be fair, I thought myself personally, like prior to it, I thought the early rounds was going to be in Daniel's favour. But for me, from the word get-go, Joyce established his jab, and from round one onwards, he was throwing that big jab moving out the way. It was a very, very good game plan what they had. They executed it very well, and he just knocked lumps off him, didn't he? Daniel was looking for the big punches as he always does. The big because that's his game, the big power punches, and Joyce was blocking some of his face, so wrong as he always does. But he was jabbing and moving. It took chunks off him until. Well, everyone knows what happened in the 10th.
Remember, in the build-up with yourself and Daniel, people who were picking you were kind of suggesting what Joe did last night you'd do to Daniel. Were you watching with a little bit of regret, Nathan, thinking, you know what, that could have been me?
Yeah, well, yeah, but no, really, because I'm a big believer in what happens. What's meant for you is going to be meant for you, and I was meant to get beat by Daniel Dubois that night. Whatever I was going to do, I was going to get beat that night. So it happens, and it was Joe Joyce's night last night to beat Daniel. And unfortunately, mate, that's boxing, isn't it? You win some, you lose some, and you learn and move on. But yeah, all that Joe really done was everything off his jab. And I think every time Daniel got into range, Joe was throwing it, bang, he was catching him, and he was just knocking chumps off him until. You think getting hit by Joe Joyce, 19-stone man, a jab for half an hour, it's going to take its toll, and it did. It did take its toll.
Nathan, what did you make of one of the scorecards which had Daniel practically winning every round?
I really don't know. Myself, personally, I gave Daniel, I could be biased, I don't know, I gave Daniel maybe 3 rounds. Maybe 1 drawn. That's why I drawn it. Obviously, other people could see it differently, but he never won every round. He maybe run round 2 for 6, something like that, maybe. Yeah, he won 3 or 4 rounds and drew 1 or something. But I had Joe Joyce comfortably ahead.
You knew Joe's chin is a remarkable, but I didn't think how good it was, because everyone who's tasted Daniel's power so far has been affected in a bad way. And even though he was getting hit clean on the button, Joe just seemed fine.
Wasn't bothering him. He was just like the Terminator, wasn't he? Just rising through it, going through it. He it doesn't affect him. The thing is, Joe Joyce of the night, mate, tough, extremely tough, super, super fit. He's a monster size of a man. And he knocks chumps off you when he's throwing them punches, as you seen last night.
Yeah, with that jab, that engine, the size of him, the chin on him.
Honestly, mate, I've always said that about him. He's dangerous. Even prior to the fight last night, everyone was asking me predictions. I said I just got this feeling. I said Joe Joyce will do it. I said he'll get him into the late rounds. He'll push him back. He'll make him swallow his own blood. Then we'll see what Daniel will be made of. That's what happened.
Nathan, let me ask you straight. You believe Daniel Dubois quit last night?
See, quitting is a strong word, but it doesn't look good, does it? You know what I mean? But on the other hand, you don't know what was going through Daniel's head. You know what I mean? He could have got there. Because he hasn't been there before. Like what Sam Jones was saying, he needed a middle fight like Jennings and stuff. To be fair, I wasn't really his middle fight, because really it was one side on Daniel's favour, wasn't it? Being honest and truthful about the matter. He got me on a good night. It is what he won. There's no point making excuses. He won. He needed that middle fight to actually go through something like a busted eye or a busted nose or something like that to gain an experience. I think when shit hit the fan last night with him, he thought, what the fuck am I going to do now? When he got back in the corner, he started panicking, especially with the eye, he couldn't see nothing. And I think he thought to himself, I'm just going to see this one out. So, could be experience, or like you said, it could be hard. There's only one way to tell now. If he comes back, and obviously, which he will come back, he's only 23 years of age, he's got still a long career ahead of him. If he comes back now, annihilates everyone, and he's took it with a good learning curve, and he's done some soul searching, then obviously he's back then, he's learnt from it. But if he comes back again into an half 50-50 fight or 60-40 fight, and he swallows again, then what do you say then, really? So it all comes back to his comeback, really, how he comes back, which I imagine he will come back.
Well, first things first, we understand that he might be going through surgery, so best wishes to Daniel.
Most definitely, mate, because the thing is, it's all right, everyone online and everything criticising him, but speaking from myself as a fighter, when you're in there and you're taking big punches off big men, you know what I mean, he could potentially go blind. So, you know what I mean, all best wishes to him, really. I hope he makes a full recovery, but like I said, it all just comes back on the comeback. If he does it again, then he's answered the questions. If not, then he's learned of it.
But yeah, he'll only be thinking about recovering, etc. now. But fans, media, etc. will be looking at what Daniel potentially does next, and the rematch review might be a possibility. You'd welcome that, Nathan?
Yeah, 100%, mate. Obviously, the first fight, I'm not making excuses because he beat me. It is what it is. I had stuff going on and things like that. It wasn't the best preparation for me. So it would be nice to fight him, when I'm 100%, because you got to enter that ring 110%. To be fair, focus in every aspect away. So it would be nice to welcome a rematch, which I'm open to. But like you say, he's currently in hospital a minute, so there's no need to kick him out while he's down. Let him get better first. Let him get back in the gym. Let him get back to winning ways. Same as myself. I'm back to winning ways. Keep pushing, keep progressing, and imagine we'll both cross paths again. It's an easy fight to make again. It was easy in the first time. I'm sure it'd be easier even second time. So that's another one there. What can happen, mate? And why not? We're both under the same banner. We're both from Britain. Makes sense.
Yeah,
we've both come off defeats. I come off defeats to Daniel. He's come off to defeats to Joyce. So makes sense, really.
Yeah, when you look at the list of heavyweights in this country, obviously Joe's going to kick on to world level.
Oh, 1,000,000%. I would imagine, I could be wrong, I'd imagine Joe will vacate the British, Commonwealth and European and go straight for, what's his name, the Ukrainian Alexander Usyk for the WBO, which I would do myself, of course. It's common sense. Where the money is, it's where the title's at. So, but you don't know. Time will tell, eh?
Nathan, just to switch matters quickly, what did you make of Fabio Wardley's controversial knockout, let's say, of Richard Lartey?
I thought he'd done very, very well. Fabio's a good lad. Very civil as well. Very nice lad. I had him in camp when I was boxing Dubois. Very good lad. Good mover. Like, again, good heavyweight, especially for Britain. Some good fights there to be made for like him and myself, him and Daniel. There's some really good fights there. I thought, I don't know, it was a weird one. He caught Lartey with a, like, I'm sure it was a jab or a left hook jab, and it stumbled him and it wobbled him. Then the right hand after that hit him. I don't know. I don't know, mate. It looked like it hit him from the glove, but unless it hit him from the glove and it caught him for the temple, I don't know. But he went down. He didn't go down. He jumped down, didn't he? But yeah, listen, I'd accept it. If it happened to me. Listen, if I was Fabio and Richard lied and that was me, I'd accept it. I wish he did, to be fair. But he didn't, did he?
Just rounding off on another heavyweight, David Adeleye fought last night. Spoke to him after his fight. He's been quite vocal in saying, not calling you, etc., but he says Nathan Gorman's a fight I want next year.
Yeah, listen. If he's in line for the British title or Commonwealth title, because that's my main priority right now. I know Joyce has got him, but like I said before, Joyce is only after one thing, that world title. So they are going to come vacant. If David Adelaide's in line for that, not a problem. But at the end of the day, he's still on 4 6-rounders. he's only had 4 or 5 fights, and he can't, no disrespect, go from his previous opponents what he's got to me. Not being horrible about the matter. I've got far too much experience, and that's just that. Let him get into a situation where he's got something I want, or vice versa. He's in line for something I want. Then we'll fight. But as for that, it's probably the end of next year or something until he keeps having more fights, keeps building. Then time will tell.
Well, it's an interesting mix with the likes of yourself, Fabio Wardley, now Daniel Dubois at that level.
You know something, mate? It's probably the best it's ever been. Like you said, Daniel's back to British level or Commonwealth level, such as Fabio Wardley. You've got myself. You've got obviously Adeleye. Was he 4-5-0? He's coming through, so it's the best ever been. And plus Joyce now coming at the European level and going on to World Honour. So then you got the big boys, Joshua's, Fury. So it's the best it's ever been. Then you got Chisora White. That's just in England. So you know what I mean. It's the best it's ever been. What a time to be an heavyweight, eh?
Definitely. Well, listen, Nathan Gorman, nice to get you on the channel quickly. I'm sure we'll catch up soon when you've got some news, all right?
Brother. Definitely, brother.
Top man, take care.
Take care, man.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free impartial advice on all your debt.